program output of this using loops. Anyone of you can tell the code how to print these numbers using a for loop? Because we have to do this, some basic programs. If you're clear, then we can move on to the next concepts: arrays, then pointers, then structures, and then last functions. Can anybody tell me this quickly, this code of it using for loop? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody? Quickly, we have to tell this. If you don't know, I'll give you a hint and all. That is fine.
For I is equal to 0, I
I is
less
equal
than
to
or equal to 10,
I is equal to
0.
check the printing pattern.
Okay,
What is
1,
print?
1, 1.
Yeah.
I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus.
Okay. And we'll be learning C data structures with C. Fine. And just give a tab space whenever you're printing so that at least we'll go to give a space here.
Ma'am, would
Yeah.
you please teach, like how this for loop works, ma'am? I'm like not
Okay.
briefly,
Yeah,
like
yeah. No, no, briefly. Yes, that's what I'm asking. If you have doubts, I'll explain the concepts briefly. At least some 2, 3 programs I'll teach you. With that, you'll understand. So in loop, we have a initialization step. That means it'll start here. That's called as initialization step. Any loop you take, this is the first step. If I have to say, I have to print from 1 to 10, every number. So this is the initialization step. Then I have to go on printing the numbers till which numbers? All the numbers which are less than or equal to which number? So whatever I'm seeing in the print, they satisfy this common condition. The condition is if this I is found less than or equal to 10. This is the second statement, which is called as test expression. So due to this test expression, we have to check it. Is it correct or not? If it's true, then only we have to do a job of printing. So whatever we wrote was the next statement. Printf percentile d I. So this is the third statement. But to do the third statement, we have to check. It has to be true. If the expression is true only, we'll enter into this statement and execute it for the first time. But after executing for the first time, the fourth statement would be I plus plus. So that means immediately the statement gets executed. After executing this, we'll come back to the condition once again. So in this 4 steps, this is the only step which is done once initially. After that, we'll be doing this step. And if it is true, we'll do this step. And if that is also true, we'll do this step. Means if this is true, we are performing collectively these 2 steps. It is together. And after performing this step, again we have to come back here by the time I value becomes 2. So now again I'm checking is that condition correct or not. And again if it's true, we are going to repeat this. So it is going to loop around. That's what we say loop. So here the concept here is the beginning value is done once and then the condition is checked. If it is true, we have to enter into the statements. This is the flow of execution. And after executing this, we have to go to the next expression. This is after this, we'll come back to this sentence. And after executing this, we'll come back to this. So when you wrote a for loop, we wrote this sentence. It is only executed once in the beginning. So once I value is initialized to 1, the second thing is after this point, we are going to which point? To this point right now, the second expression. So second expression is a conditional expression. If the condition gives or evaluates to true, now I value is less than or equal to 10 is true as of now. If it is true, directly we have to enter into the body of the loop. Whatever we have written inside the body will get executed. So because it is true, we are entering into this and get executed this one. So because of this execution, we get an output on the screen as 1. And after that, again, we have to go to this sentence, third expression. Sorry, if I count it as a number, first expression, second expression, this is the third, and the fourth one is this one. So 1 to 2, if 2 is true, second expression is true, we'll perform the third expression, third statement is executed, and after that goes back to the change of the value. Because we have to move from 1 towards 10. So to move from this point to this point, we have to do some changes in the C value. C cannot stay at this value. After printing C1, I have to change the count to next value. That is done through which concept? Plus plus. So how am I moving from 1 to 10? That is important here. Am I jumping one step ahead or am I jumping two steps? It's just the gap between the numbers. So if starting value of C is 2, then how should I go to the next value? It is a link here is plus 2. So depends upon the pattern what we have observed here. So here, if the C value is 5, the next C value is reached through which notation? Plus 5 notation. So there are different patterns. If you see, you'll understand here. If I write something like this, you'll have some other pattern here. Is it going through addition of 1 or addition of 2? If you observe this pattern,
No, ma'am. Multiplication.
multiplication by which number?
2.
Yes. So if C value is 1 and if you multiply this with 2, we'll get the next value. Now if C value is 2, if you multiply with 2, you'll get the next value. So here this change, that means if I have to write this program, write a program to print this pattern. So what is the initialization step for this program? So to print 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, what is the initial step?
Initialization.
Yeah, initialization of value with which value?
1.
1. What is the, till how many numbers we have to print? All I values which are less than or equal to 1024. And let us see the logic. Before printing the logic, at least, should I print the first I value? Will it be printed? I1 is 1 less than or equal to 1024.
Yes, ma'am. Will print.
So it gets printed. After that, what should be the new value of I?
Into 2.
Yes. So we should not just write like this. We have to change the I value. Because if I don't change, same value 1 will be printed. I have to update the I value by how much? Current I.
Into 2.
This is a binary expression. If you don't want a binary operator, we can take a unary. It's simple. Like 1 is multiplied by 2, we say no. C is multiplied with 2. So I multiplied and assigned with which value?
2.
This is better version rather than I is equal to I into 2, right? Is that clear?
Yes.
Fine. And so that's what is a basic loops concept actually. So at least I'll help you to do some little few programs. I'll give as a list to you. We can do it easily with that loops. Reverse order if I have to do also, it's the same concept. What is the initial value?
10.
Till how many values we have to print? All the values which are
Till 1.
relation to 1. So all the values we have to print which are more than or at the most equal to 1. So this is my condition. So when you look at a pattern only, we should understand which condition will satisfy all the numbers which are more than or equal to 1 starting from 10. And how am I going to move after I10? What is the next number? The reduced number by 1. So it's an easy concept. Just write the link, the relation between the numbers, and then you can proceed with the for loop. Now, if I have to find the total of all these numbers, 10 natural numbers. So what is a better way to do that? Should I do like this? Or should I do with reverse order? Which is better?
Reverse order.
Reverse order. Okay. In reverse order, what should I take if I do the reverse order sum?
we should initialize sum to 0.
Okay. And then we
You
have to add every number.
every number.
So for loop will start from, if you have taken a number as 10, I took the number as 10, I took the initial sum as 0, then where should I start adding? What should I add to the sum initial value?
I is equal to 10.
Okay, I don't want to take n. Already I said this is the number. We accepted the number from the user. So can I start doing the calculation from this end directly? 0 plus 10,
Yes, ma'am.
that answer will be 10. Then 10 plus 9, that answer will be 19. Can we do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that means I have to start the loop from which number? 10
10.
itself. And so that the starting point is already given. Initialization is already done outside the loop. So I will leave this step blank. Initialization is no more required as it's already done. It's not that we have to do it inside the loop only. We can do it outside the loop also. The value should be initialized. After that, till where we have to do the addition, how many numbers we have to add to the sum? All the numbers
9.
which are,
Till 1.
Till 1.
so what will say? All the numbers which are greater than or equal to
1.
1.
1. Because I started my calculation from this point. We have to move on till which number? Till greater than or equal to 1. Means it stops at which point?
0.
0. So this is the condition to check. And if it is true, what should we do?
My num minus mine.
What should we do if it is true?
Print sum is equal to sum plus.
Yeah, so generally we write this one. But like in real time, how we see 0 plus 10, we do it in mind, no? Immediately we'll get the answer. We are adding to the sum which number?
10.
Right? And it should automatically update that answer. So sum is just added with which number? This is the
10.
better notation. So don't write sum is equal to sum plus num. You can just write sum plus, means sum is added with which number?
Num.
So whenever you're updating a information, I'm updating sum by just adding some numbers given in this range. So we can just say sum is added and updated with these numbers which are set from 10 to 1. And after doing this, we just have to reduce the number. So it will flow initialization step, test expression, summation, then decrement, again comes to this point. 9 is greater than 1, then this part, right? Outside the loop, you have to come and print this sum of the sum is equal to. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So there are a lot of programs we do, but see, we are not learning programs on loops. So what we want to learn here is how to traverse on a given set of elements. So I know to move in forward direction or backward direction using a loop, right? So now we understood how to move from 1 to 10 or how to move from 10 to 1. So this at least you should know. Fine. Any confusion till here?
Ma'am,
No,
and
ma'am.
what about while loop, ma'am?
Loops are there, but we don't have to learn. Okay. While loop is also concept same. If I have to print from 1 to 10 using while loop. Okay. Concept is same. What is the first step in loops?
Initialization.
Initialization. Next is the condition. The condition which will be kept in while will be tested again and again as long as it's true. It's just like an if condition. If I put if, it's tested only once. So if I change this if with while, it is tested once. It is true, it will perform the body of execution and come and test the condition again. So condition is tested as long as it's true. Okay. So make a habit to write a tab, because later once we see a linked list and all, whenever we print a data, next data should not be continuously printed. There should be a gap of tab at least. Okay, or else give some space. Initialization, the condition is checked, whatever is kept in while. If it is true, it has to execute everything present inside the body of the while loop. And after executing this, the next expression is increment or decrement as per the requirement. Fine. After increment is done, the new value is again checked with this condition. So again, if the condition is true, again we'll execute the body and again come back here. So as till 10, the condition is true. 10 is less than or equal to 10 is true. After that 10 is printed, it becomes 11. When we come back to the condition 11th time, 11 less than or equal to 10 is a false statement. Then it quits. So the program will quit at which value? At 11, I is equal to 11, because the condition gets failed, gives the false condition. Okay. So then the program will quit. Is that clear? Till here, any confusion?
No, ma'am.
Fine. Now, same loops, because now we see do while also same concept. In do while also the initialization step, but no test initially, directly the do statement, whatever you want to do, the repetitive statement. So what we want to do is print the number and then increment the number, and then at last we have a condition to check, and if the condition is true, it will go back to this body, but if the condition is false, it should quit the statement. So in the do while will come at the end and it will be terminated with a semicolon, but in while there is no semicolon, because if I put a semicolon, what happens is initializes, tests the condition. Even if it is true, there is nothing connected to that. So condition is true, we have to come back to this again. As long as the condition is true, it will repeat again and again the same thing. So it goes into infinite loop of testing the same value 1 less than or equal to 10, because it will never become false and will never reach to this body also. So this block of statement is not a while block right now. So it's outside a while. While is already terminated here. So there is nothing connected to a loop anymore. So only when the loop stops, we can execute this normal statements. And here the loop will never stop, because the condition will never be false here. It's always true. Why it is always true? Because I is 1, 1 is less than or equal to 10. Again, you're coming back to the same condition. We did not change the I value here. But if I write here itself I plus plus, let us say, I will remove the sentence here. So it's not a part of while body. Now we said I plus plus post increment. So I value is 1 less than 10 is true. But again, when it comes back, it is already updated to 2. So it goes on checking the condition for 10 times. 11th time when it comes, 11 is less than or equal to 10 is false. Then the loop will break. Once the loop breaks, it will execute like a normal statement. So which value of I will be printed now? It's 11. So it's the printf statement will not be executed along with the loop. It is executed after the loop breaks. So if I value is updated only, this condition can sometimes become a false condition. Otherwise, it will never stop only. Right? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So in do while, the only thing is semicolon is required. In while, we should not keep a semicolon. Now here also, if you see, the program is same. While condition is given with post increment. Post increment will not happen right now. So it is testing the condition. If it is true, it is getting executed. Again, it comes back here, which is updated. Now it is 2. So this loop, so here we have taken initialization, test expression, statement to be printed, and inside this expression only, I change the value also with the post increment. So it's need not necessary that we have to write always here only. If we want to do some printing here, post, But here printing will start from which number? At this condition, it was 1. But after the condition is evaluated, after that it becomes
2, ma'am.
2. So if you want to print from 1, we have to start with which number? 0. Then only it will start printing 1. So it depends upon your coding, how you have done on that. Right? Any confusion with these three syntaxes? Because in data structures with linked list, we'll be using while loop a lot. We'll use while loop for recursion. That means for recursions, not recursions, for looping or traversing on the list actually elements. Or we'll be using a concept called as recursions for traversals. Whenever you want to print all the elements of a linked list, I can either use a while loop or we can use a recursion. I'll teach you this next time, the recursion topic. Means whichever program I'm able to do with the loops, I can do the same programs with a recursion topic, a function calling itself. That concept also you should be strong. Otherwise, we can't learn data structures. In a lot of data structures like quicksort, we go for recursions only. Okay, now we have arrays. Arrays can be used frequently with loops. Why? Because arrays are nothing but collection of elements which are having sequenced indexes. So because of that sequenced indexes starting from 0 onwards, so like just a sequence of a loop only. So if I have declared an array of size 5, the indexes would start from, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, and the last index would be 1 less than the size. So this would be the size of an array, and the last index will be always 1 less than the size. So if I have to print all the elements of an array, so I can take in elements of an array something like this, in this manner. And if I have to display, the elements are found inside the array block, but we can call them with indexes, specific indexes like this. So the second element is in this index. So do you see a pattern of a loop? Instead of writing this, I can take an array of I notation. And can I set this I notation starting from 0 till less than 5 is a better notation, because if you look at the size of an array, 5 is very symbolically visible. So use the same number here, but don't say equal to ever. Don't do that mistake. So always start with I0 and always say I less than the size of the array, and then just I plus plus. So we are using I to represent the index of an array, so that I can just say I want to print the numbers or the values found inside the array. Array is a continuous block, name of a block in which cells are represented within specific indexes. So it's nothing but whenever we talk about a declaration of an array, we just give a size here by which we'll get a continuous block of memory. So it's nothing but just a block of memory is created. When I said int something like this, immediately we'll just get a simple block of memory in the block of memory on the RAM, and it's just partitioned with how many cells? Totally 5 cells are created here. And this whole array name is a common name. The whole block name is 5, that means AR. Size of this is 5, and each partition or each cell has its own index starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 4. That means the last index would be always size minus 1. That you have to remember. Because when we do programming with stacks, queues, we need to know these concepts. So when I said print the first element, if somebody says print the first element, we should just say printf %d and AR of 0. So just one less than that. If I say print the third element, so we just have to say printf %d AR of If I want to print the third data in the array, if
2,
these are
ma'am.
the elements, yeah. So we'll just say 2. Similar way, if I say print the last element, we should always know to print the last element as go by the size of the array minus 1. That's the last index. So generally we can do the arrays with the sizes like something, we declare some constants, hash define size, and we can say size as 5. So this is like a constant. Instead of taking number, we have declared a constant in the macro. That means your pre-processed directive, you have already defined some number as a size. So with that, what happens when you declare an array, I can directly take this number. Otherwise, array size can never be a variable size. We can't declare a variable for an array size. So we can take only a hash definition. That means a constant definition only. So once we do this, if I had to print a last element or something, so we could have just said print of the element on inside the array found at which index. I don't know how many elements are there, so I can directly use this constant and just say minus this. If I have to print the elements in reverse order, how should I do that? Okay, forward direction, how should I do that? If I have to print all the elements of the array in forward direction, how should we do that?
For loop, I is equal to 0, I less than size,
Yeah, so we
and
can just say less than size. Fine.
I plus plus, and print AR of I.
If I have to do in a reverse direction,
We should take I is equal to size and
no.
size minus 1.
Yes, this you should not forget. Yeah, next.
Uh, I
Nine.
I is greater than equal to 0.
Yeah, so if you have confusion, you can see that we have to go from 4 to 0. All the indexes which are greater than or equal to this
0.
one.
I minus 1.
Okay. If I had to find the sum of this array elements, because these are array, elements are found inside the array. You want to find the total of those elements. How should I find the total? Same
For
logic.
some, we should initialize sum with 0, and for I is equal to 0, I less than size, I plus plus, and sum plus is equal to I.
No,
Sorry, AR of I.
I is this one.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Fine. This is I to represent this. Okay.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that any confusion? And outside the loop, once you come out of the loop only, it's better to write curly braces because a lot of students do mistake. If they have to write a statement outside the loop, put it outside the curly braces. The summation, sum is equal to, okay, clear? Any confusion?
No, ma'am.
And these are like basics. At least we should know some programs in array. Now we know printing forward, backward direction, and we know the summation. We want to find the max and the minimum programs. So to find the max and the min, if this is an array in which we have these elements, I'm just giving a logic to you. I'm assuming this has the largest of all the elements. Fine. I assume that max is which number? The first number itself. But again, I have to go and check other numbers are found larger than this or not. So we found which number is larger than the max?
17.
17. So if I find some other number is found more than which number?
The present number.
Something else is found. Yeah, present max number. So what should we do at that time?
We should assign the max is 17. I mean, the other number.
Yeah, max will become the other number. So this concept, we are checking at every number. No? If the other number is more than this, we'll update the max. It's not. So we'll move on. It's not more than this. It's more than this. So we updated max as what? 17. We moved on. Other is not more than max. So finally, when we came out of the array, what is the max number?
17.
17. So what is the logic for this? Whatever array you had, you can have some elements in the array. That is up to you. You can take whatever you like. Now, we have to take current assumption as the current max would be which number?
First number, AR of 0.
AR of 0. And we have to traverse on this remaining elements. Remaining elements from which index?
From 1 to
Yes.
size.
So check in the other elements other than the 0th element. So less than the size of the array, or as of now it's 5. So I plus plus. What should we check? If I find a larger number, if other number, how should we talk about other number?
If
AR of
AR of I
means other
is
number,
greater than
Greater than
max.
max number. What we should do now with that?
Max is equal to
A of I.
Yeah. Same concept I can do with min also at the same time. I don't have to traverse twice. I can finish both the tasks at once. See, you can take a least integer value also. Instead of taking AR of 0, least int value. I'll tell you next class what is this. And you can take a largest value in this one. Fine. So I'm just trying to say that as of now, I just took 0, 0 here, or the first value itself. And if I want to check the smaller number also, we can do the same manner. If the other number is
Less
found to be less than the
minimum.
current min, then only we'll try to update the min as the other number, right? Any confusion?
no.
So outside the loop only we should print. See, the programs are easy. I'll give a list of programs in a C language. Please execute and send me. Because if you're not executing, it's like you don't know the program. It's as good as you don't know. Unless you execute strongly, confidently, you should not say, I know that program, right?
Yes.
Fine. This is one. Linear search. What is a linear search logic? I want to search for a data, 6 inside that. Is it found inside that array or not? I will search from which location?
First location.
So I'm going to the next location only when I did not find. But when I found it, what I do exactly?
Break.
Will stop or break. So at the most, my data can be found, if it's found position, at the most it can be found at which index? It can be found from beginning till end anywhere. We don't know where is it found. So we have to search from which location to which location?
From the first to the last.
Last index. We have to search. And while searching, what is my job? Comparing. Is my data found matching with which data? All other data. So if it's not matching, we'll move on. But if it's matching, what should we do? Break.
Yes.
So we are only doing one thing. If it's matched, we'll break. If it's not matched, what we should do?
Go
I
on.
plus
Keep.
plus. Go to the next one. So I have to repeat this process from which index to which index?
I is equal to 0 till I less than size of 5 and I plus plus.
And what am I trying to do? This is already done. When should I do this?
When the number which we
It is
want to
not found.
search,
Is not found. So we'll move on to this. We'll start searching at this location. What should I look at that location? If my searching data is, I'm searching for 6 right now.
if D is equal to array of I,
If it's matched, what should we do?
we should break the loop.
Break.
Yes, just break the loop. Don't have to take any counter or anything. Generally, everybody will do that program. We don't need a counter. I'll tell you why. So,
What is a
if it's
counter,
found,
ma'am?
counter means they'll start counting. If it's found, they'll count plus plus.
Yeah,
Then
yes,
instead of, so I don't need that actually. So if my array is this one and I found the element as which location?
2.
2. So the loop has broken at which point?
Index 2.
2. So that means if it's not found, let us say it's not found. So at which point the loop will break?
5th. 5.
Means after 4 it will increase and I value will reach to which value?
5.
So when it is not found, the loop will still break, but it will break at 5 size
5.
only. But if it is found, it may be found at this point, this, or max at which point?
Last
Last
4th,
index.
ma'am.
So that means I can check the condition, no, by checking I value. Is I value is less than which value?
5.
The breaking point. We are taking a decision based on the breaking point of the loop. If I means the loop has broken before 5, so what does it indicate?
The this thing is found, ma'am. The element is found.
Found at this index, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Else which statement you can write? Not found.
Not found.
Means you can write the condition in two ways. You can say if I is equal to which value, what will I print?
Not found.
Yes, it's up to you whether you want to write this condition or you want to write less than condition. So this concept is called as linear search. Why is it called linear search? We are moving only once from left to right. Linear. Single dimensional array is always a linear structure only, right? Any confusion till here?
No, ma'am.
I'll give a list of questions today. Like I'll just send you. So I think Monday will start because I have to go out now. So Monday will start again because what are the topics I want to just give a brief is these topics like arrays will cover some more like 2-dimensional or we say some sorting technique. Anyhow, we need this, no? Sorting techniques, I'll teach you bubble sort. With this, at least you know how to traverse using nested loop. So I'll have to teach you nested loop. Then only I can teach you sorting techniques. Fine. So on Monday's class, we'll discuss about the nested loops first. And then one sorting technique we'll learn on the Monday's class only. After that, I'll be teaching you the pointers. We'll start with the pointers topic and then the structures if possible. Once these are finished only, I need to teach you functions. We'll see how much you can do faster based on that. Functions and dynamic memory allocation. If you have done this, then only we can start with your actual data structures. Maybe the DS start topic of stacks we can start. Stack and queues will be each one day only. Will not take more than one day. Each concept one day. One class. Complete. and it will be complete practical. Nothing is like I'm writing and you are by hearting. You have to execute the same day and send me the outputs, right? So,
Yes.
are you all comfortable, or am I going fast for others? Because the Malik know me, I don't know others right now. So,
Yes,
all
ma'am. It's
others, are
comfortable.
you all comfortable for you? No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So today, if I send you all these notes and I'll send you a few questions, can you all send me the
Yes,
Yes, okay,
outputs?
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
You can execute them and send. Don't write and send. Execute them. And if it's executed only, send me the notes of that. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So basics also I'll help you. I'll give some extra time and help you if somebody is not getting the answers. Right? And so any doubts in today's class? Any doubts in today's class?
No, ma'am. It's all clear.
Okay. So all, I'll just send a list of the programs today by the end of today or sometime. You send me the solutions by tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine.